This is a story called The Little Monsters at Christmas, Chapter 86. Santa Claus gets kidnapped by the naughty Santa Claus and his friends. It's only a few weeks till Christmas and all the kids are really excited. However, one day they're all at home watching children's TV when a news bulletin comes on saying, "We're sorry to interrupt your programme, but we have to announce that Santa Claus has gone missing. He was last seen working in his workshop making the children's toys at around 2 p.m. this afternoon. He left his workshop to go and get some paint and never returned. We know that the naughty Santa Claus and his friends were hanging around outside the Good Santa's workshop. Our fears are that poor Santa may have been kidnapped." Of course this wasn't real, but the kids believed it was. The next day on their way to school, Michael said, "Did you guys hear about Santa Claus? They're saying that he may have been kidnapped." The big kids laughed because they knew it wasn't real. However, they didn't say anything to the little kids because they didn't want to burst their bubble. Then, when they got to school, all the little kids were talking about what had happened to Santa. No one knew what to do and they were all really worried. That day, all the little kids talked about was the fact that Santa was missing. Everyone thought that he'd been kidnapped and they didn't know what to do. That day after school, they were all watching children's TV when the news came on. The newsreader said that there would be a reward for a used sack of toys each for every child that helped to find Santa and return him safely to his workshop. She told the kids to be careful as the kidnappers were dangerous and they wanted £10 million in return for Santa. The kids were adamant that they were going to help find Santa and get him home safely. The next day at school there was groups of little kids stood around trying to work out how they're going to save Santa. Then Joanna had an idea and she got the others to gather round and she said, "We have to find Santa ourselves. I say we sneak out of school at lunchtime and go and search for him. Don't tell anyone though, because they'll only grass on us or copy us. Keep it to yourselves." That day at lunchtime they all stayed outside to eat their packed lunches, and as soon as the teachers turned their backs they quickly sneaked off the school premises. Then Pinky Erin said, "Now what are we going to do?" "We keep our guard up and we look everywhere we can think of," said Copper Cane. "Right, let's start by looking in that garage over there," said Butterfly Joanna. They all looked in the garage, but there was no one there. They went on to the next lot of garages and they were empty too. Then Bubbles said, "Guys, we better go back to school before the bell goes. If the teachers notice that we're gone, we'll get into trouble." They got back to school 15 minutes before the bell was due to go. Just as they got there, Mr. Pease came over to them and said, "Where have you lot been all lunchtime?" "We were round the side of the school building playing and having eaten our dinner, sir. We went round there so that we could figure out how to help Santa, sir," said Feisty. "Did you figure out how to help him?" asked Mr. Pease. "No, but we will, sir," answered Feisty. "OK, guys," said Mr. Pease. Then he said to another teacher, "What I'd give to be their ages again and living in a fantasy world." They both laughed and then the bell went and they got the kids to line up ready to go inside. That day after school they all went back to Feisty's house as it was Friday and she was having a sleepover. That night after they'd eaten their tea they all went up to play in Feisty's playroom. Whilst they were in there playing, Copper said, "I think I know where Santa might be." "Oh yeah, go on, we're listening," said Blue Elsa. "There's got garages where we play sometimes that nobody uses anymore. He could be in there," said Copper. They all sneaked out of Fighter's house and went to the garages. When they got there was no sign of Santa, and the kids were gutted. He'd been missing for 4 days now, and the kids knew that they had to find him. Then Kat said, "There is one place that we haven't looked. We haven't looked in the empty garages near the school." They all made their way to the garages near the school, and guess who they found? Yes, that's right, Santa. However, they couldn't get to him to help him because he was tied up and gagged. Also, the naughty Santa and his friends were there keeping an eye on him. Now what are we going to do?" asked Bear. "I don't know, but we have to help him, we have to," answered Squirrel. "Yeah, but how?" asked Bubbles. "I don't know yet," said Squirrel. "Oh no, Feisty, it's your dad," said Butterfly. "Get in the car now, all of you," said Feisty's dad. They all did as they were told, and when they got back to Feisty's house, he said to them, "What were you kids thinking? You know better than to go out in the dark on your own. You're 7 and 5 years old. There's bad people out there. Anything could have happened to you." "We're sorry, Daddy. We wanted to find and help Santa," said Feisty. "Did you find him?" asked Feisty's Daddy. "Yes, Daddy. He's tied up and gagged in the garages near the school. We tried to get to him, but we couldn't because the naughty Santa and his friends were there keeping an eye on him," said Feisty. "Right, come on, get back in the car. We'll go out and see if we can help him," said Feisty's Daddy. They went into the garages and Feisty's Daddy couldn't see anything, so he had to pretend, and he said to the little ones, "Well, I can see all right. He is in there, tied up and gagged. The question is, how are we going to help him?" "I don't know, but we have to do something, Daddy," said Feisty. "I have an idea," said Copper. "Go on, Kane, I'm listening," said Feisty's Daddy. "We could go to Santa's workshop and ask the elves if they'll give us some magic dust. If they do, we can sneakily climb on the roof and sprinkle it on Santa," said Copper. "That's a great idea, Kane, but it's too late now, so you'll have to wait until tomorrow," said Feisty's Daddy. The next day the little ones went to Santa's workshop and spoke to the elves. They gave them some magic dust to sprinkle on Santa and a different type of magic dust to sprinkle on the naughty Santa and his friends. The kids went back to the garage and sneakily climbed on top and sprinkled Santa with magic dust. This made him invisible and he escaped. When the naughty Santa noticed he was gone, he said, "Where did he go? How did he get away?" "I don't know," said one of the naughty Santa's friends. Then the kids cracked out laughing and the naughty Santa said, "It was you lot. Just you wait until I get my hands on you." Before the naughty Santa and his friends could do or say anything else, the kids sprinkled magic sleeping dust all over them and sent them to sleep for 10 million years. Then they made their way to Santa's workshop, and when they got there they couldn't have thanked them enough. He gave each of them 2 massive sacks of presents. Of course, none of it was real. It was all a set-up, but no one told the little kids this as they didn't want to burst their bubbles. The end. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to like, share, comment and to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, guys. Love yous. Bye.